All right, she is an actress, a model, dancer, business owner, and mother of superheroes in real life as well as on the big screen. Her son is a YouTube sensation. Her daughter is an accomplished actress with another daughter who recently graduated and is off to college. No small feat in itself. And her silver screen son grows up to be none other than Batman. We are honored to welcome Carrie Louise Putrello, aka Martha Wayne, to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, it is a pleasure. I mean, out of all the moms we could have had, Martha Wayne is, I think, the best mom we've ever had. So let me ask you this, ma'am. Can you tell us about your journey from deciding you wanted to be an actress to landing your first role?
Well, I've always been in performing arts my whole life. I danced my whole life. I was bunhead, ballet dancer. I went to a performing arts high school, School of Creative and Performing Arts in Cincinnati. I moved out to Los Angeles and I started dancing. I got my SAG card. And I know that, you know, a lot of people question how you get a SAG card. I got my SAG card easy. And people hate to hear that, but I got a role for a principal. And so it was easy for me to get my SAG card. And then much later in life, you know, family and business, and I wanted to get in acting again. And that's pretty much it. With a lot of details that I'm leaving out, of course.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about the audition process? And our show is mainly for aspiring actors, filmmakers. So we're interested to know not so much about the times that went well, but more so what advice you could offer as far as what goes on when, you know, you go to an audition and it doesn't pan out and it doesn't result in a role, and what advice you would offer to actors that are going into an audition.
This is hard. So if you go on 10 auditions and you didn't get anything, you're a working actor. If you're getting auditions, you're working. That's how you have to see it. It's hard to get the audition, but once you get it, you should feel, you know, grateful, privileged. Someone noticed you and you're thinking that, oh, you know, this person could work. And because there's a lot. I mean, I've auditioned for 10 things in the past year and it didn't pan out. Yeah. And it sucks. And it does not feel good, but you have to understand, and you really have to tell yourself that everyone else that's auditioning is going through the same thing you are. You know, what are they picking one person in the United States?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, can I have a follow-up on that?
Yeah, well, actually, I have a follow-up on what she's actually saying. Let me ask you this.
I'll follow up on your follow-up.
There you go, 2 follow-ups. Let me ask you this. Speaking of you talked about the audition process. This is our 3rd season, and we've talked to a lot of guests from filmmakers, cinematographers, actresses, actors. And one common theme is they've all said this: when you go to the audition, and hopefully you can speak to this, be yourself, because you're only you, and that's what they're looking for. You don't want to try to be someone else. You always have to be your. Could you speak to that?
Yes. I mean, I would say the same thing. If you're going to an audition, just try to relax and breathe and don't get nervous, because no one is going to be you. No one can do you like you. Don't try to be like someone else. You have to bring yourself to the audition. So just knowing that maybe they're not looking for you that time, but someone will eventually look for you if you're not like everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
and it's got to take resilience too in the face of constant rejection, like more rejection than acceptance from what we hear. Like, you know, most of the time you're maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 20 if you're lucky. It's really a numbers game of just playing the odds. And
completely.
Like, personally for you, how was that? Like, how long did it take? Like, how many auditions did you, like, I decided I want to be an actress, and then so you start going on auditions. How long would you say before you finally got a break and then somebody hired you for something? And how was that for you internally going through that?
Well, I would say about 2 years when I got my new agent, And I was being sent on a lot of commercial imprint work. And it seemed like I was clicking with that. Like there was a need for my look, for commercials or pharmaceutical or print ads, things like that, things that pay the bills. Those are things that you need if you're trying, if you're trying to get your foot in the door. You need that. And they can pay incredible. But it took probably 2 years, and I was auditioning for small roles. And then my biggest role, which is a tiny role, was in the Joker,
Yeah.
which blew me away. I'm still blown away because it's amazing. I think it's an amazing role, and it's especially when I look who have been Martha Waynes. I can't believe that my name is listed on there.
Let me say this: no one gets pearls snapped off their neck like you do. Okay.
And I love that. That was so fun. That was so fun.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely get into the Joker in a few minutes, but you touched on something that is actually a perfect segue into the next question, the commercial work. And so
Go ahead.
No, Alan. Oh, you're talking about Alan B. So I'm not aware of the brand, but is Alan Bika?
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
All right, off to a good start. Alan Bika. So I saw the commercial that you had for them on your Instagram, or no, yeah, it was on your Instagram, led me to the YouTube video of it. And you're right, you do have that energy about you that works for different things like that, because it was a great commercial. It was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun.
But it's such a careful balance that you have to walk as someone who's trying to make it in acting, because on one hand you have to have this ego and pride about yourself in order to pull yourself into the next audition from the last rejection. But at the same time, you have to keep the ego in check to be able to know that there's like steps to, you have to pay the bills in the meantime. So
right.
If you could speak on that as an actress, someone that has done commercial work, the importance of one, just staying in practice, staying in front of a camera, but even if it's not this, the name on the poster, on the marquee type of role, a lot of the times those things pay the bills.
Yeah. Well, what was the question?
I'm with her.
I heard a lot of
build-up.
build-up.
The build-up was there, and we were like, "Go for it."
I'd say all that to say this. No, I guess the question is what that experience is like for you as someone who has been. I mean, you've been in a Todd Phillips film as Martha Wayne, and then have you done a commercial since then?
I've done one.
No, okay. I promise I'm going to get to a question here. There's going to be a question at the end of this. So, like, when you go back to a role like that after you're on a film, is there, like, how does that affect you as far as, is there like an issue of pride that comes into play, and how do you work with that?
Oh, no issue of pride whatsoever at all. I mean, to get a job is amazing. I mean, and even in commercial work, when you go on an audition for a commercial or even self-tape first, I mean, pre-COVID, I would go into the city, and at 9 o'clock, I'd look on the sheet, and I had a 4 o'clock appointment. At 9 o'clock, they had, people in 10-minute increments. So, well, first, right when I see that, I'm like, oh, God, what are the chances? So you never know. So you just, and I think that like humbles you a bit, that you're just like, okay, well, whatever. I'm just going to be me, give it my all, and we'll just see what happens. Like it's truly out of your hands. Yeah. It really is. I mean, everyone that's going into these auditions are, they're good, and they put on a facade like they're confident, and a facade. Yeah. They're really good at what they do in front of the camera. So, everyone is. So it's just whatever they're looking for at that time.
I always tell myself this is like, because I don't know if you know, but I act and I've been acting for quite some time. But what I tell people is this is when you go to an audition, if you're really a great actor, guess how I get most of my roles? I pretend that I'm going on an audition. I pretend that that's the role I'm playing. I'm acting like I'm the most confident person that's been to audition that day. And that's the role I'm playing. I'm a guy playing a guy. And that's how I try to get my jobs. Now, let me tell you this. You are, if many people don't know, you are a woman of many talents. And one of those talents is actually dancing. Now, you're a dancer and a model. And you even own your own studio dance center in Utica, New York. And if I'm not mistaken, on your website, I believe you guys are celebrating 20 years. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Could you tell us about that being not just an actress, you're an artist. You paint whatever brush you got. So tell us about that.
Okay, well, one correction, Dance Center of Utica, but my Herkimer girls, I have another studio too, Herkimer. So, if they watch this, they will be slighted. And I'm so glad that you just said 20 years, because it's been 23. So I'm going to have to go on my website and correct that. I will I'm going to try to remember.
I'm only as smart as the internet allows me to be.
Yeah.
Because you talked to us about that dance being your passion. Clearly you have 2 studios. You love teaching. You love doing it. We even saw on your Instagram, if I'm not mistaken, I thought Baywatch 3.0 was coming out. We saw you on some beach just dancing, just loving life itself. So talk to us about the dance.
Oh, well, dance has always been in my life. And when I was little, I always wanted to be a dance teacher and own a studio. And I love that. I mean, if everyone could have a job that truly brought them joy. I mean, everything, you get tired of every job, when you're getting, I'm completely engrossed in my work, and it's a good thing that I love it. And I love the kids and I love acting, because it makes the, issues like rejection, it makes it easy. It's tolerable because you have a passion for it. And the dancers, I love them. And, I'm dealing with dance moms, and they're not always the best. So that, it evens things out. It levels it.
So aside from running your own studio and managing the trajectory of your own film career, you also support the pursuits of your children, which I think is, one, it's unbelievable, because where does the time come from? But also just, it's awesome that you have this like family of creative entrepreneurs that are supporting each other. I just want to give them some shout outs here before we get into the question. So your daughter, it's Eva, right? Eva, not okay.
Yeah.
She's pursuing acting herself. I saw she had roles in Mr. Robot, Monsterland, and Ghost in the Graveyard.
Yeah.
And then your son, which you want me to do this? No, huge kudos to him. We will refer to him from his YouTube handle, Young Dirk. This is arguably the most impressive to us, because we have a personal shoe in this race and understand how challenging it is to get seen in the overly saturated possibilities that are on YouTube. And he's managed to go over 170,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I saw the trajectory of this happening on your Instagram of like, he's going live, help him out. He's almost to 50, he's almost to 100. Now he's almost to 200,000. That's just
awesome.
Yeah. And the views. And then your daughter, Sophia, who to graduate and go off to college, I know as a parent, that is,
it's a feat in itself.
Yeah. Well,
she just got her bachelor's.
Wow. Yeah.
Got her bachelor's.
So all of that, and then your husband is a business owner as well with Putrello Coffee. And so first of all, congratulations on all the successes with your family all around.
Thank you.
And so how could you speak on like what that's like? I'm sure some of the kids have moved out but you're still a family unit that are supporting each other in your endeavors. So like, how do you manage that and juggle that time?
Well, I mean, any mother knows, parents know it's hard to manage, having children and having something for yourself and work. So it's not easy, and I'm not organized. I make mistakes all the time. But my kids, with their passions, these are extracurricular activities that they had when they were younger. They're passionate about it. So my son, it just didn't happen for him. He was doing this when he was a teenager, like in his early teens, like getting really into gaming. And so it was a passion of his. So I didn't really have to guide him. He just, I knew that's what he loved to do. And my youngest, who is in acting, when she gets her sides for auditions, she just takes them and learns them. I don't help her out with any of that, only when she wants to run her lines with me. And for anyone, a parent who has a young actor, you shouldn't be pushing them. They have to want it. And I've reminded my daughter many times, if this is too much, don't do it. You have to be passionate about it to have good results. You have to want to do it.
No, I concur. No, and speaking of that, because I have a daughter and she acts as well. And don't get me wrong, like I don't have a son, so you know how a dad wants his son to play baseball, football, whatever. But since I'm an actor, I was wanting my daughter to be an actress, and she is super talented at it. But I told her, this is what your father loves. I love this, but if you don't love it like I love it, don't do it just for me. You got to have a passion. I want you to be happy no matter what you do, and I think that's great that you're not one of those parents that you're gonna be little me. No, be better than me.
Yeah. I think from being a studio owner for dancers, I've truly learned that even from the mothers, because I'm seeing something that I don't want to replicate. Mm-hmm. It's like my parents over the last 23 years have taught me how to be a better parent. Yeah. Just from, seeing things that maybe, I'm thinking about, I don't want to imitate that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to figure out a different way.
Was there ever any trepidation as far as like when your daughter comes to you and says she's interested in acting, or your son is, I'm gonna create this YouTube channel, I'm gonna get it going? Was there ever a moment in your heart of hearts where, as the parent that wants the absolute best for their children, because this question is coming from myself with my daughter, I'm like, part of me wants, I will always support whatever she wants to do, but it's like, don't be an actor. Like, statistically speaking, rejection and heartbreak and poverty likely lays in your future with this route. But so is there ever that thought in the back of your head, or I know.
Yeah, there is, but how many young people know what they want to do? Like, it's just like asking a 16-year-old, what do you want to go to college for? What do you want to do? Do they truly know? How many people change their mind by the time they go to school?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just want my kids to be happy.
Yeah. That ultimately does trump everything.
Yeah, I mean, money is great. Money pays your bills, but how many times do we see, even actors that are, they're superstars and life is not easy still, no matter what they have around them. So be happy, money, job second.
Yeah.
Well, I would go back on that. Happy, healthy.
Yeah.
There's probably more important steps, but generalization.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I didn't see this on your IMDb, but I did see something on your Instagram with John Wick 3. Was that your first appearance in a feature film?
It was, yes.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
So, John Wick was my first, and I got a call at the last minute. I mean, I submitted, but I didn't get any kind of call. But at the last minute, they asked me, and I'm, heck yeah, I want to go. And the cast is amazing. And it was for a feature. It wasn't a principal role. It was just a feature. I just wanted, my son loves the movie. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this job. And my son loves the movie, what we do for our kids. Yeah. So it worked out. And I have a funny story about this. Well, I think it's funny that when I was growing up in Los Angeles, I was young, I was broke. I was like getting booted out of my apartment because I couldn't pay my bills. And I had a girlfriend that I danced with, and her name was Kate McShane. And I lived with her for almost a year, a little under a year, with her mom. And I had a lot of good memories. They took care of me. Mm-hmm. And we danced together. And I knew that her father was somebody, but I didn't really know anyone then. And her father's Ian McShane, which at the time, I didn't even put it together. I just knew that, you know, she had a father that lived in England that came and visited her. So I was on the set, and I truly was oblivious about Ian McShane being in the cast. You know, I knew Halle Berry was there. I was all excited about that. And I asked a PA that went by me, you know, if I could talk to Ian McShane. And they go, oh, no, you have to ask this PA. So later, when I got her attention, I asked her if, you know, she could give a message to Ian McShane, because I know they're running around like crazy. That's a really hard job. And it was the first time like that I felt that if you're not a feature, I felt like nobody, you know, and I've heard complaints, background actors will say, you know, we're not treated as good, but that was the first time that I felt like the significance of being, you know, like the ladder.
Yeah.
And I know I got off topic, but she wouldn't give him a message. You know, she wouldn't write it down or anything, and she like was rude. But that's not the funny story, because the story goes to the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do you want to hear the connection?
Yeah, this is
Yes,
perfect.
we love connections.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it was connected. So I was like, I felt that like someone just like dismissed me so quickly. And I'm always pleasant and nice, and you know, and so when I was cast for Joker, I was on set, I was in my trailer, and someone knocked on the door and opened it, and that is now my PA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which I just thought,
comeback.
well, I don't know. Does anyone else? I thought it was like a weird connection.
No, that's serendipity at its best, to say the least. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, since you brought it up, let's get into the reason why we're here, and let's talk about the Joker, or should I say Joker, directed by Todd Phillips. Now, the role of Martha Wayne is not a very large part in this film as far as screen time. However, is a very iconic role, as we discussed earlier. That character serves as an extremely important part in the story. What was the actual process like landing that role?
I wish there was a really good story, but there's not.
I set you up. I was like the greatest intro.
No, but you know what? My agent called me, and she said she wanted me to do a self-tape initially, and I saw that it was for Todd Phillips. So I knew Todd Phillips because of The Hangover, which I love that movie. I loved all the movies. And so I didn't know what it was, though. I had no idea. I just knew that they wanted someone who was older and looked like maybe they could have been an ex-model at one time. And yeah, I truly feel that the look of me is what they were looking for, like a certain look. And that's a lot, most of the time, and that's what, it doesn't matter. Good doesn't always get the job.
Mhm.
So, going back to actors and, you could be incredible, but they have something in their minds that they're trying to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No major story.
Well, no, I was kind of hoping for just the boring logistics of something like this, because I think a lot of people would expect this like big moment that happened, but it was probably sending something in and then a lot of waiting and then more waiting and anticipating. Was it only one audition tape, or did you go in for a second?
No, I did two. And I think I auditioned in July, and I found out in August. And I was calling my agent saying, did you hear anything? I really wanted this. And then right when I called her, she goes, I just got it, a call or a contact. And so I was ecstatic. I was afraid that they were going to find someone else. I was so nervous for like the next 2 months until I actually did my fitting.
I was going to say this is that I know it ties into what you mentioned earlier. Like you said, sometimes they're just looking for you, no matter how good you are, or bad you are. When you have that look, you have what they need. It's timing, and it goes back to what you say. So you just got to keep plugging along. You didn't give up. You kept going, and that's awesome.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
the movie is so ambiguous as far as just how it ties into the whole timeline of Batman and everything. It's very like purposefully mysterious. So I'm hoping that the answer to this question could shed a little bit of light as far as like so you're on set and you're playing the character. Was there any direction given to you that might be telling as far as like what Todd Phillips had in mind as far as how this connects into the Batman universe?
Todd Phillips is so relaxed and chilled. He made it so comfortable, and he just, just like I'd be protecting my own child, protect this child. And I already knew from the sides what was going to happen. So I think less direction with something like that is more important, because I could truly just act as I would if I was nervous and scared and going through a crowd, a very crowded place, and bringing your son through it. That's just how I would act. I would act a little bit as a mom. I'd act a little over the top because, that mama bear instinct comes out. So it's just completely natural to me. And he was great because he was fine. He was fine with it. Yeah.
I think his loose style really worked for the ambiguous atmosphere of the movie, because like you'll in interviews with him, he's like, no, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is absolutely not the Joker. And then Joaquin Phoenix is like, no, he is the Joker. And from what I saw in the behind the scenes and different interviews that they talked about, is like, everybody was free to act their character how they interpreted it to an extent. Like even the man who plays your husband, is it Brett Cullen?
Yeah, Cullen. Yeah.
I read that he was like he acted his part as if he believed everything that Penny Fleck was saying about the rumors. That he played it as if he was author's real dad. So I think that was really cool that he just let things be kind of fluid like that. You're pretty much getting a lot of different interpretations throughout the performances.
I agree. Let me ask you this. I know, like you say, even though it was like not a small role. I don't believe there are any small roles, but I'll ask you this: for knowing that you said you wanted it so bad, you did your fitting, you became a static. Did you do anything special to prepare for this role?
No.
You're making all the young ladies out there that want to be actors like, I can do this. I can do it. No, it's not. No. Sad Card, Batman, Martha Wayne. I'm doing it.
Or maybe it was just time. Maybe right. I did it, so many times and, prepared that when it did happen, I felt really ready for it. Yeah.
How long were you on set for that scene? Or for those two scenes?
Only 3 days, but I swear there were more fittings than anything. There were so many fittings.
They should let you keep those outfits they did not use. Like, come on, guys, I'm wearing this. Come on.
No. Yeah. The costume designer was wonderful. This Mark Bridges designed the costumes.
There's a running joke among actresses that I always hear, which is they say most females say you only get to wear this dress once. Well, that's if you're not an actress, because clearly you guys sometimes only wear these dresses once and maybe sometime never again, as far as a wedding dress versus when you're an actress. So let me ask you this. Now, we all know this, especially me. I always feel like every scene I film, every scene that's filmed of me is going to make a film, and it does not. So let me ask you this: were there any scenes that were filmed with you that hit the cutting room floor, should I say?
Yes.
Can you talk about those without getting in trouble?
We understand that Todd Phillips has said that the movie that is out is the movie. He will never release a deleted scene, so we totally understand if you can't say it, get it.
I don't know. I don't feel it. It's not my story. It's not my place to tell it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
The writers and directors out there are in love with you right now. Why can't all actors be like this?
Yes.
This isn't even a question. This is just an observation. I thought it was funny when I was doing the deep dive on your Instagram to kind of prepare for the interview. I thought it was ironic that shortly after the Joker premiered, you were spotted at a Halloween party with somebody dressed as Batman. I put the post, the picture in the question. Unfortunately, I don't have it pulled up now, but you know what post I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. What party do you go to that there's not a Batman? There's always a
Oh,
Batman or a Catwoman.
I've been missing life then because
I would say most parties in 2019 probably were leaning more towards the villain side of.
That's an Adam West Batman outfit too. This is like the old Batman. Yes, but that's
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome. Let me ask you a question here, because one of the most powerful and pivotal scenes of the film is, I like to call it a duality scene, as Joaquin Phoenix's character, the Joker, is becoming the Joker. He's dying at the end, and the riots are happening, and you and Thomas Wayne, Mr. Cullen, walk out of the theater, and your death scene happens. Let me ask you this: were those things happening right the same time adjacently, or were these things happening, were they filmed separately at different times?
Well, when the riot was going on and we were walking in front of the theater, all of that was going on, which was amazing. I mean, I've never been on a set like that. It was incredible. Right when we came out of the doors, there's people running back and forth, and it didn't seem like the same, like traffic pattern each time. So it felt real, and there were cars on fire, and it was very loud and a lot of smoke. So it was just awesome. It was great. But then the scene at the very end where the pearls are pulled off, it was quiet.
That was an amazing shot. And I think you put it together earlier when you said there was so much going on. There was a lot of chaos, but in film, chaos can be beautiful. And they pulled it off with that shot.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, it was great.
What was your favorite memory from the production?
I met a stunt person, Elena, and she was going to take the fall for me when they pulled off the pearls. And I'm a very physical person. And I was like, "You're going to fall for me? Well, can you show me how you fall? Because I want to do this. I mean, I've been in dancing my whole life. I'm sure I could, it's definitely an art." So I just had her show it to me. Like, can you do it in slow motion? Like, just so I can get an idea of how you're going to fall.
Yeah.
I wasn't too successful the first couple of times because I landed on my actor I was working with. I landed on his leg a couple times, and "Carrie, can you please try to shift your body a different direction?" Because when you're falling, I wasn't controlling it,
Yeah.
But I learned.
Well, we're wrapping up here, but before we move on from the Joker, is there anything you want people to know about the film, whether it's in front of the camera, behind the camera, they may not know, or something, a thought from the film that you would like to give the fans of the film?
I would just think the whole industry itself, like when they're making something, they are just completely doing it for the fans because they want the fans to love everything that's on that screen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see so much of a separation, like, these directors, producers, these big movie houses and the audience that's watching. They're really combined. They're wanting to entertain so much.
Yeah. I mean, I know the studio has a bottom line that they need to make, but I know that Todd, as far as at least for Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, that this was a passion project that they had to fight for tooth and nail to get made through the heads of Warner Brothers, everything kind of changing.
I mean, if you're going to tell somebody you're going to make a Joker film after what Heath Ledger did, they're like, "Guys, it's been done. It can't be done any better." Well, he at least met the mark.
No, but I'm going to make a Joker movie. I'm going to make it extremely violent and rated R. So and they're thinking but what about the toys? What about the cereal?
None.
Yeah, it's going to be really, and then it goes to show when you stand by, going back to what you said in the beginning, being true to yourself and what you want to do artistically. The movie went on to be the highest grossing R-rated film in the history of R-rated films, and that's unbelievable.
Yeah, amazing.
So more recently, you starred in Hulu's Ultimate Playlist of Noise as Miss Richardson. Can you tell us about your character and what that experience was like on that set?
So I was a teacher, and it took place in the 90s. And Keenan Johnson, a student, that's the actor's name, Keenan Johnson. Marcus, he played Marcus. He is trying to get me to get the attention of another teacher. So he makes a playlist, and he gives me a tape, and it's Conway Twitty, and I just see the actor, and he's like a big, huge cowboy hat on and blue jeans and plaid shirt tucked in, and he sees me with the Conway Twitty, and then we start a relationship.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, and that way I don't overstep here. Has anyone ever said you look like a certain actress? Because I got my bet down here.
Okay. Yes.
Are her initials SS?
No. Who are you thinking?
This is a compliment.
Okay.
Let her decide if it's a compliment.
Well, when she brought up Holly Berry earlier, when you brought up Holly Berry earlier, she was also a Catwoman, which Sharon Stone was in. Come on.
Oh, I think it's just because of the hair, but I would take it as a compliment.
Yes, awesome.
She's gorgeous. I'm trying to think of a woman she was in. Robin
Wright Penn. Yes. I was going to say Robin Wright Penn.
Look, we're all on the same page now. Look at us.
Sorry, it is Robin Wright now. Okay.
All right. So thank you for playing along with that. So I definitely meant that as a compliment. I had to say it. So one of my last questions is that for aspiring actors, artists, and actresses out there, if you had one single piece of advice to give them, what would it be?
Oh, it's hard with one if you put it that way.
One statement if you can give them.
Keep going. It's the losers that make it. It's the people, if you give up, you don't make it. So it's the losers that if they just work one more day, they make it. Don't quit. I mean, if it's a passion, if it takes 2 years, that's quick.
The fraction.
4 years, okay. But you'll get there. It's just you can't give up, or you'll never know.
Yeah, Nick McLean, the cinematographer from the Goonies, he was on for that show, and he said he doesn't know anybody that, if they haven't quit, didn't eventually make it. It seems like a needle in a haystack situation, but it really is just a matter of running out the clock.
Oh yeah,
like just keep going, don't give up.
Like Tenet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whether it's this could be dance, modeling, acting, or even anything that your kids have coming up, or all of the above, is there anything that that you're at liberty to share and would like to share that you have coming up?
I don't have anything coming up. I just started auditioning again, so crossing my fingers. And my daughter started auditioning again too.
Okay.
Awesome. And my last question, I promise is that thank you for that advice you gave the actors and actresses, but this doesn't have to be about film whatsoever, but because you were so gracious to come on, we always ask our guests, is there anything you want to say just to society in general? We've been going through some crazy times. So are there any parting words you just have for society?
Oh, no parting words. I'm not big on goodbyes, but I'll see you later. I
would have fell out of the chair if you would have said, knock, knock. This is what you get, Murray.
All right, so we would like to say thank you so much. You took the time out of your day. We will make sure that you get the proper respect and glory that you deserve. I mean, Miss Wayne, it's been such a pleasure.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carrie. All the best to you.
Thank you. You too.